Hello and welcome to a new series at NAFS called the Moto Talk featuring Farhan. My name is Ibrahim and I'm going to be your host for this series. In this series, we are going to talk about different bikes and more details or questions revolving around them. Today, we are going to talk about this particular bike called the Speed Triple 1200 RS. Today we're going to talk about this particular bike in person called the Speed Triple 1200 RS and some questions revolving around it. And who better to answer those questions than our very own Mr. Farhan. Hi Farhan.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So we're going to talk about certain questions revolving around this particular bike, and we have few questions lined up for you, and it would be great if you could answer those questions for us.
Sure.
All right, Farhan. So our first question for today is, what makes the Speed Triple 1200 RS stand out in terms of performance?
This motorcycle gets an inline triple cylinder 1200cc, which is quite unique. The inline four cylinders are known for their high-end performance and they're known to be very smooth, whereas the twin cylinders are known to have the initial grunt, but not so much in the top end. So the triple cylinder gives you the best of both worlds. It has the initial punch as well as the top end. And this 1200 RS churns out about 180 bhp, which is a lot of power for a triple cylinder, and it makes 128 Nm of torque. This is quite a lot of torque for any motorcycle for that matter. With all the hardware that it has, all the electronic package that it has, the combination of all this gives you a proper super naked, which is easy to ride yet extremely fun, and it's a lot of power. It's 180 British horsepower.
Wow, that's a lot, Farhan.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to our second question, right? What are some of the key features of the Speed Triple RS?
Okay, as I said earlier, it's got a very unique 1200cc triple cylinder engine, 180 PS and 128 Nm of torque. Now, to give you a reference of this torque, this is more than the Ducati Panigale V4, the torque.
Okay.
It is more than an Aprilia RS V4.
Oh, wow.
So 128 Nm is good amount of torque, and that in the naked format is going to be ballistic. And yes, in terms of hardware, it's got the Brembo Stellema calipers, which are, the best that you can have in terms of braking in the production motorcycles. It's got fully adjustable all-in suspension, front and back, and it's got a very good set of electronics. And this motorcycle supports Bluetooth connectivity and turn-by-turn navigation along with cruise control. It also comprises a full LED lighting, a 5-inch TFT instrumental cluster, which supports Bluetooth connectivity. It also gets 6-axis IMU that supports the latest electronics like cornering ABS, switchable traction control, 5 riding modes, wheelie control, cruise control, quick shifter with an auto blipper, and this also gets a slipper clutch. Yeah, it also gets a keyless ignition, which is quite unique in its class. So the combination of all this, the chassis of this motorcycle, the dynamics of the motorcycle with a very good riding geometry, that with the superb brakes that it gets, the suspension that it gets, and this very comprehensive electronic package that it has, all of this combines into a super naked, which is extremely enjoyable to ride, yet friendly to ride.
That's a lot of features for a bike like this, Farhan. That's really nice. All right, adding on to the same question that I had asked you initially, right? What makes it stand out from its competitors?
So in terms of competition, there are a few motorcycles, but some of them are available in India and some of them aren't.
Okay.
210 V4 I think is one of the closest competitor, but it is not easily available in India. Actually, it is not available in India as of now. It was some time ago. My friend also had one, but right now it's not available in the Indian lineup.
Okay.
The MT-10 also comes close to this, but again, it's not available in India. The Honda Hornet 1000 is a little lesser compared to this in power, and the price point is also much lesser, and also in terms of electronics, what this offers is a lot more. So I wouldn't consider it as a direct competition. It's a good affordable option available in the liter class naked category. In terms of competition, it is quite limited. I think the direct competition for this will be the Ducati Street Fighter V4 and the KTM 1390 Super Duke.
Okay.
Now 1390 Super Duke, there are hardly any on the road and there aren't enough reviews of it. But what I know about the Street Fighter V4, I can give you a proper comparison with that. Now, the Street Fighter V4 makes the same horsepower as the Panigale V4. Okay, and that's a very mental motorcycle. It's brutal. I mean, imagine 214 horsepower on a naked motorcycle, which is pretty light. I mean, without electronics, you should be a Superman to ride that motorcycle. It's not that my motorcycle is not meant for humans. People who buy that motorcycle are crazy. 214 bhp on a naked. So that's very brutal, and it is not for everybody. It is meant for very experienced riders. Now the Speed Triple 1200 RS makes a little more accessible, 180 bhp and 128 Nm of. But don't get me wrong, calling it a little more accessible is like an understatement for this motorcycle, because this itself is a very brutal machine. 180 bhp and 128 Nm of torque is a lot. But in comparison to the Street Fighter V4, this is a little more friendlier. Yeah, and it's extremely fun to ride too. Like if you switch off the electronics, I've had a chance to take this for a spin. The rear slides, when you give that gas. So it is a fun motorcycle, and yeah, it's a ballistic motorcycle to ride. I call it the ballistic triple.
So we'll move on to the next question, right? The next question is, what kind of a rider the Speed Triple 1200 RS is suited for, and why is this machine so rare?
So this motorcycle is meant for those people who are upgrading from the middleweight nakeds. Now, if you see one thing, middleweight nakeds is something that is very popular, at least in India and across the world also. The middleweight nakeds is something that people feel that it makes a lot more sense because of how accessible they are for day-to-day commuting, for the streets. If you want to take it on the track and a little bit of touring, they feel that these bikes are a lot more accessible. In terms of power, this makes about 180 bhp. So some people find that it is a lot of power to take on a naked motorcycle, and for a lot of people it makes sense to have that kind of power on a super sport motorcycle where you're crouched down and you don't feel that much of wind blast. And also, if you look at the price point, this is at around 23 lakhs on road in Bangalore. Now at that pricing, you get a proper fully fed ZX10R in the same price point. So to a lot of people, it made more sense to take a super sport motorcycle at that price. It gives you 200 horsepower, and also it's having all the aerodynamics fully fed motorcycle, which makes it a little more practical in terms of kind of power it makes. That a lot of people found that is a lot more usable, and this is too much of power. But there are those set of people again who want to upgrade from the naked middleweights, but they do not want to compromise in terms of ergonomics with something like a super sport. They still want that flat handlebar. They want the nimbleness of a naked motorcycle. Like they have, I mean, these bikes are good on track. They're good for the streets. They're good for a little bit of touring as well. Not really a tourer without a windscreen, but then it is doable. So it is meant for those people who still want a proper super naked, who want to upgrade from that middleweight category of naked motorcycles, but don't want to compromise in terms of comfort going in for a super sport motorcycle. It is meant for those people.
Now we get to know actually why this bike is so rare in India. Now coming down to this particular bike, right? Could you let us know, and also the viewers, more about the bike in particular that we have today over here?
This is a 2021 Speed Triple 1200 RS, and I think it looks beautiful in this paint scheme, the gloss black and this tan colored seat. It also has a tan color pillion seat, but we have the seat cowl now on the motorcycle. And this motorcycle gets an SC Project exhaust with a link pipe. And in terms of protection, it's got the frame sliders, it has the fork sliders, swing arm spools, it's got the radiator guard, it's got the prime fly screen, and it also has a full body PPF to protect all the painted parts of the motorcycle. It's a 2021 model, it's run about 10,000 kilometers, which is not a lot. And the pricing that we are giving this out at is a big saving, because a brand new motorcycle will cost about 23 lakhs on road, and we are offering this at 14.5 lakhs, and it is slightly negotiable again on table. So that way, it's a huge saving for all those people who thought that 23 lakhs is too much to spend on a naked motorcycle. It will now make a lot of sense because at close to 10 lakh rupees lesser, you're getting this motorcycle.
Yeah.
A lot more accessible. It's a big saving and a great opportunity for those who want a proper super naked motorcycle.
So Farhan, if you have to summarize this vehicle, what would you describe it as?
So it's a brutal 1200cc engine, which is still very accessible because of the electronics package it has and because of how nimble it is. So it's a proper ballistic triple cylinder engine with proper British 180 horsepower. A great motorcycle, the combination of everything that it offers, it's a brilliant motorcycle. The chassis, the Brembo Stellar calipers, the all-in suspension on this, the riding geometry and all the electronic package that it has, the combination of all this makes it an extremely fun to ride super naked motorcycle.
Well, thank you so much Farhan for answering all our questions, and we'll see you in the next video.